Hello everybody and welcome back to another video from BrickByBrick, and today I wanted to talk a little bit more about Onward. The movie came out a week ago as of the upload of this video, and I saw it opening night. I just decided to wait a little while before making this video, kind of let it sit, but a video that I made about a year ago at this point was about whether or not there was any chance we'd actually get Onward sets in 2020. Obviously, we didn't, which I predicted correctly. But I wanted to make this video now that the movie's out to sort of address whether or not I think they should have made Onward sets. I was very in the video that I made about a year ago. I suggested that I would have loved to see Onward sets, but I find it very unlikely. So let's move into a little bit of an Onward review. So I like the movie a lot, actually. I've enjoyed Pixar since I think I've seen pretty much every Pixar movie in theaters since the first Cars, except for Wall-E, and maybe I didn't see Ratatouille in theaters, but I have a DVD of Ratatouille that I watched many times when I was much younger. But so as a big fan of Pixar, I go see all of them, regardless of whether or not they'll actually be good. And since Toy Story 3 came out, we've been kind of in a little bit of a loop of sequels. And there was Inside Out, there was Coco, and The Good Dinosaur and Brave, but The Good Dinosaur and Brave weren't that great. Um, so they there's been sort of a mixed bag as far as my thoughts on Pixar movies and the latest years of release. But fortunately, I think Onward was significantly better than all of those. I think Onward was exactly what I wanted it to be, and you know, it's I understand some of the complaints that I've seen about how the first and second acts of the movie really sort of feel just like a relatively generic road trip quest movie sort of thing, and you know, I I can sort of agree with that, but I think that the third act of the movie is really what makes this work. And, without spoiling anything, uh, I think that it it definitely wraps the whole thing together and makes it a really good uh, Pixar movie. And it's definitely, I think since Toy Story 3 came out, the only movies that I've liked more than Onward are probably Coco and Um, probably Toy Story 4 is better than Onward. Uh, and it's probably, I think I like Onward more than Inside Out. Inside Out is great, but I think Onward is just slightly better. And, compared to every other Pixar movie, Onward is definitely in the top half, probably in the top quarter, but I need to seriously sit down and think about it in order to determine that for sure. If you want to see me rank every Pixar movie for some reason, I guess I can do that. Just tell me in the comments, and I'll get to work. Might have to rewatch most of them probably, but it can be done. Now, does that necessarily mean that I think Lego should have made Onward sets? That question I think is a little bit harder to answer. I'll start by saying that I would absolutely love to have some of the stuff from this movie in Lego form, especially Bartley and Ian, the main characters. They would be great to have as minifigures. But my issue sort of comes along the lines of how Lego would release them as sets. I feel like it's pretty safe to bet that had Lego made Onward sets, they would have been 4+ sets. So, the builds would have been pretty disappointing. See Toy Story 4, for example. And the Cars 3 sets, I think, were actually pretty decent, but that's because, they went with a system that worked pretty well relative to the older car sets. And, you still had the car figure builds, whatever they are, that, worked pretty decently and looked respectable with the old ones. However, the builds from the new Cars 3 theme were sort of lacking in simplified, and that gets extended even further with Toy Story 4, where really it was only the minifigures that sort of fit in with the older Lego Toy Story sets from 2010. And Onward, there are several things which the very last thing I'm going to do in this video is suggest a handful of a wave of sets based on the movie. But there are several things in this movie that I think would have been really, really cool to get in Lego form. But had they been released as 4+ sets, I think they would have been extremely disappointing. And, I probably would have bought them anyway, just for the minifigures. But I don't know that in 4+ they could have made any of the stuff that I would have liked to seen very effectively. Now, as far as what I would have liked to see from the movie, there are really 2 sets that I can think of or 2 scenes in the movie that would have made fantastic sets. And, they probably could have thrown in some smaller, like a smaller set based on, I don't know, maybe the convenience store scene. That maybe they could have done something based on that. I guess they also could have done something with, I don't know, Ian and Barley's house. Maybe a set featuring Ian's room from the scene at the beginning of the movie, and it's also in all the trailers, so this isn't really a spoiler. But the scene where they, actually bring his dad back, or try to.
Ah, he's just legs!
I guess they could have done something small like that, or I guess even a slightly larger version of their house with the exterior and everything. But I don't know. I don't see either of those as being super likely candidates for sets. But as far as sets that I think would actually be likely and are actually fully fleshed out suggestions or ideas. First up, the one that would be 100% likely if they were to make sets would be Guinevere the Van. I feel like that's a pretty obvious choice. Probably would have sold pretty well, like the Mystery Machine, to fans of Onward. So I guess there's probably more fans of the Mystery Machine than there are of the Onward fan. But we'll see how that ages. But they could have done that pretty effectively, I think, in a $30 or $40 set, including Barley, Ian, and the pants, and Dad's legs. And I guess if they wanted to throw in a side build or something, I guess they could have done one of the bikes and the Pixies from the convenience store. Sort of done a little bit of a chase thing there. I think that could have been a pretty effective set. And the other thing that I would like to see is, spoiler alert if you have not seen the movie, skip over the next, minute maybe. 3, 2, 1, are you gone? Okay, well, the other thing that I would like to see is the final battle in the movie with the dragon, which I think is probably one of the greatest dragons in movie history. I don't know, I found that to be one of the best things about the movie. But it would have been cool to see an $80 to $100 set, including the dragon, Ian, Bartley, the Manticore, possibly the dad, but probably not, and then their mom as well. I think that could have been for a pretty cool set, especially. I just feel like there's something about that dragon and the way that it comes together that would have lent itself to being a Lego set pretty well. But overall, I'm still optimistic. Maybe we'll get Ian and Barley minifigures in a Disney Series 3. Or the other thing that could happen is someone could make an ideas project submission of one of those 2 things. More likely the van. I feel like that's the only one that would have a chance to get 10,000 supporters and approved on ideas. But someone could do that, and because Lego didn't make sets on it, that's a possibility. If Lego had made sets on it and they were 4+, then we would have been stuck with those 4+ sets forever and no chance of getting anything better. So I guess there's the bright side, and we just have work to do, Onward fans, if we want to see that happen. So maybe someday. But if Ratatouille gets approved, maybe there's a chance. But anyway, that's all for this little video. I just wanted to share my thoughts on the movie pretty briefly, and sort of just do a follow-up to that video that I made about a year ago. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below. If you want to see more videos like this, again, just let me know in the comments. And I do read them all. I reply to most of them. And yeah, I will see you guys all next time with another probably less interesting video. Bye, everyone.